one legal hurdle after the other, Senator Antonio Trillanes posts bail for his 4 counts of libel pending at a Davao court. Trillanes appears at the Pasay Regional Trial Court to pay the 96,000 peso bail for the libel cases filed against him by the son of President Duterte and former Davao City Vice Mayor Paulo Duterte and husband of Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio. Davao Court will hear tomorrow a motion seeking to issue a whole departure order against the senator to bar him from leaving the country. Meanwhile, a Pasay prosecutor withdraws the application for a precautionary whole departure order as another attempt to prevent Trillanes from traveling abroad. Prosecutor says he has no witness to testify. A Makati court already allowed Trillanes to attend speaking engagements in Europe and in the United States. The senator is scheduled to leave tomorrow.
This is another challenge dito sa ating ginagampaang role bilang kritiko ni Mr. Duterte. So tanggap ko yung mga ganitong mga pagsubok. So ang mabuti niyan ay natapos natin pansamantala itong obstacle na to.
Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara says he has instructed the Immigration Bureau to, quote, let Senator Trillanes travel abroad if there is no whole departure order issued by any court. President Duterte is asking Congress to once again extend martial law in Mindanao for another year because of what he says is the persistence of rebellion in the region. Government security officials briefed senators on why there is a need for another extension. Our Joyce Ilas tells us lawmakers are divided on the matter.
President Duterte believes Mindanao still faces a rebellion that needs to be quelled under martial law, beyond the time period so far given to him by Congress. He formally asks Congress to again extend martial rule in the South for an additional year, until December 31st of 2019. His reasons, the Abu Sayyaf, Bangsamoro Islamic Freedom Fighters, Dawla Islamia, and other local terrorist groups are still recruiting members and carrying out violent acts such as bombings. He adds communist groups have committed more than 340 violent incidents, ranging from harassments against government installations to arson attacks. Security officials briefed senators about the basis of the president's request in a closed-door meeting. Senate President Tito Sotto says he is convinced about the president's reasons for extending martial law.
I think they were able to present some very compelling reasons for us to really consider the extension. In my opinion, there is a continuing rebellion. There is actual rebellion ongoing.
Some senators also favor the extension, but only for 6 months. Senate President pro tempore Ralph Recto says there might be a legal issue if Congress extends martial law for another year, as some lawmakers will end their term on June 30th.
Can this Congress extend martial law beyond its term? What is appealing is that they're saying that they would be able to wipe out the Abu Sayyaf if we give them a 1-year extension, and to reduce the capability of the CPP-NPA.
Opposition Senator Bam Aquino is against any extension.
If the goal is ubusin talaga yung Abu Sayyaf at NPA, baka mag-extend talaga tayo ng 5 to 10 years, no? Many of us feel that now is a time for rehabilitation, good governance, peace and order, na hindi na po kailangan ng martial law po dito.
Aquino believes the minority bloc will still oppose the president's request. The Senate leadership, however, admits the House of Representatives will outnumber them in voting jointly.
The House, almost unanimously. So kung joint session to, and there's a required number, I think they will be able to pass it.
The Senate and House of Representatives will hold a joint session on Wednesday to discuss and vote on the president's request to extend martial law for the 3rd time. Joyce Ilas, CNN Philippines.
A top magistrate of the Supreme Court says the law allows the extension of martial law without limits. Speaking to CNN Philippines, Senior Associate Justice Antonio Carpio says President Duterte can repeatedly ask Congress to extend martial law for as many times as he would deem necessary.
As long as the grounds exist, the grounds for declaring martial law continue, then you can continue with martial law.
Walang limit as to...
There's no limit, yes.
Today is International Human Rights Day, and several groups marched in protest against the Duterte government to mark the occasion. Our George Quiles tells us what they have to say.
Protesters call this the Faces of Tyranny, an effigy showing President Duterte with the countenance of a goon, a puppy, the infamous dictator Adolf Hitler, a demon. Emily Soriano joins this year's Human Rights Day protests. She's the mother of Angelito, one of the 7 victims who died in a supposed anti-illegal drugs operation in Bagong Silang, Caloocan City on December 28, 2016. Angelito, who dreamt of becoming a soldier, was only 15 years old.
Sana grade 10 na siya ngayon. Sana yung batang simple lang ang pangarap, makatulong sa kanyang magulang, pati yung paglalambing niya sa akin, hindi ko na po maramdaman.
With the recent conviction of police officers involved in the death of Kian de los Santos, the 17-year-old victim of anti-illegal drugs operation also in Caloocan, Soriano is hopeful justice will also be possible for his son.
Hanggat yung presidente natin ay nananatiling nakaupo at mali yung ganyang mga pinagagawa, hindi po kami titigil makipaglaban. Ang hangad po namin kasi katarungan para sa mga mahihirap.
Human rights group Karapatan says the government's drug war is just one of the reasons why alleged human rights violations are committed under the Duterte administration. Government data shows that around 5,000 drug suspects were killed in supposed legitimate operations from July 1, 2016 to October 31, 2018. Authorities say that slain drug suspects resisted arrest and fought back. But Karapatan says there could be more than 20,000 deaths under the war on drugs.
We are still a long way para mapanagot hindi lamang yung mga direct perpetrators, kundi sa mga government officials na nag-order directly, nag-encourage at nanulsol sa mga pulisya para pumatay ng walang habas.
Karapatan adds martial law in Mindanao is also a factor why human rights abuses happen. Just this month, the Commission on Human Rights found military officers accountable for the so-called Lake Cebu massacre, where 7 Lumad were killed in South Cotabato in December 2017.
Mas marami pang violations na maaaring hindi nare-report o hindi naipapile sa korte dahil namamayani ang impunity sa mga komunidad.
Protesters say human rights abuses cannot just be buried underneath the mountain of pressing issues confronting the country. Instead, these violations must be brought forth since the human rights situation mirrors the true state of democracy in a country. George Cahiles, CNN Philippines.
This Newsnight on CNN Philippines, consumers will receive higher electricity bills for the second consecutive month this December. According to power distributor Meralco, power rates will slightly go up by nearly 10 centavos per kilowatt hour, mainly because of higher generation charges. This means households consuming 200 kilowatt hours a month will pay 18 pesos more this month. The return of the Balangiga bells tomorrow, over a century in the making. This only made possible after a law in the United States barring the return of war-era artifacts expired late last year. Some residents of the town tell CNN Philippines how they feel about this. Trisha Terada has that story.
The long wait may soon be over for the residents of Balangiga, Samar, as the historic bells will soon be back in their town after more than a century. Though the bells have been away for 117 years, the longing for their return still lives among the great-grandsons and daughters of Balangiga.
We are so excited kung ano talaga ang itsura ng bells, how is it reflect the color, kung ano talaga yung materials na ginamit.
There is something more than being happy, more than being excited. Kasi 117 years, ang tagal noon. And we didn't expect it will come home.
Many of the living descendants have never seen the actual Balangiga bells, but the story about the bells and the heroism of their ancestors have been passed on from one generation to another through annual reenactment and storytelling.
Yung pagiging mga heroes ng aming mga ancestors, yung pagiging brave nila na hindi sila natakot na talunin or lumaban sa mga Amerikano.
Yung bells namin represents a lot of our as a people and as a place.
When the authentic Balangiga bells arrive here in eastern Samar, these will be positioned in this platform where replicas used to be. The original bells will temporarily be hung here for public viewing until it is put back to its belfry in the exact same place where it tolled before the war.
Para sa amin naman simbahan, ang mga bells na yon is yun ang nagkukonek sa Diyos at sa mga tao. At the same time, sumisimbolo siya ng pagkakaisa.
The parish of St. Lawrence de Martyr had been reaching out to the U.S. since 1998. It was in July 2017 that the current parish priest sent an extensive letter explaining why the bells should be back. President Duterte has called for the return of the Balanghiga bells in his State of the Nation address in some of his speeches. But prior to this, several administrations also backed the church's call until the U.S. finally decided to return the bells this December.
I think it's time for the bells to come back, but it was not due to any particular event or any particular statement. People have been working for this for many, many years.
As a compromise for U.S. war veterans, the U.S. government will provide replicas of the Balanghiga bells.
I think, part of it, it's been 117 years. And as time passes, I think wounds also heal. As Secretary Mattis said in his remarks in Wyoming, all wars must come to an end. And perhaps it was just the right time.
In Balanghiga, Eastern Samar, Trisha Terada, CNN Philippines.
The House of Representatives will push through with questioning the Budget Secretary tomorrow on the proposed 2019 national budget. That's despite Benjamin Diokno's request for a postponement. Diokno asked for House leaders last week to reschedule the question hour because of the number of questions proposed by lawmakers and the information they are requesting. Now, this comes amid allegations there are questionable insertions in the budget. Senator Panfilo Lacson insists discretionary funds, more commonly known as pork barrel, were inserted in the 2019 budget. In a Twitter post today, he said, quote, 2019, year of the earth pig, brace yourselves for more pork. Malacanang says it is up to Congress to do its job to determine if there are irregularities in the proposed spending plan. Back, the latest in sports, the Alaska Aces finally take a game back from the Magnolia Hotshots in the finals of the PBA Governor's Cup. Alaska won Game 3 of their best-of-7 series by 29 points, handing Magnolia its worst defeat in finals history. Final score 100-71. Mike Harris led the way with 36 points and 18 rebounds. Magnolia still leads the series 2-1. Game 4 happens Wednesday at the Smart Araneta Coliseum. Meantime, a dominant victory for San Miguel a la Pilipinas to open the new season of the ASEAN Basketball League. The defending champions took down the CLS Knights of Indonesia 94-67. Ronaldo Bachmann did a bulk of the damage. He scored 33 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, and 3 blocks. Alab will face the CLS Knights again on Sunday in Indonesia. Motorcycle enthusiasts were in for a treat as they joined a breakfast ride in Pampanga yesterday. Our Pauline Versosa tells us more.
For those hungry for more adventure, what better way to start a brand new year than with BMW Motorrad's latest models? On Sunday, more than 600 riders gathered for a breakfast ride to San Fernando, Pampanga to discover what's in store for BMW Motorrad in 2019. The brand launched several new models which cater to every biker's adventure needs. 3 new models were on display, including the F750 GS, the 850 GS, as well as the classic R90, which slays the competition here and abroad. And to the surprise of those who attended, the newest C400X, a medium-sized scooter, was also introduced. As part of the Urban Mobility Series, the bike takes on a more ergonomic design at a very attractive price range, perfect for maneuvering through Metro Manila's congested traffic. But the event's biggest highlight was the unveiling of the latest R1250 GS for the very first time in Asia. The bike was exclusively flown straight from Germany to give Filipinos a peek at its sleek design and technology.
Aside from the color, which everybody goes crazy about, on this HP color with the gold wheels, the engine is now at 1250 and it now incorporates a shift cam technology, which gives torque all throughout the RPM range. So you have a low lift cam and a high lift cam interchanging between RPM ranges to give smooth and a lot more power all throughout.
A lot of people have been waiting for it. News came out since last year, and we're just lucky to have all 3 at this time.
This by far has been the biggest and most successful turnout for BMW Motorrad's breakfast ride, where riders and bike enthusiasts were delighted by the latest products.
Definitely good. All the models from 750, 850 to 1250 are really nice.
Well, yung gusto ko yung yung R1250, yung bagong GS, sobrang ganda. Pag-iipunan ko yan para makabili ako.
When we talk about engineering, technology, and reliability, I think BMW is really the bike to have, to own.
In 2019, riders can expect a more exciting year as BMW also plans to expand in dealerships and rider safety. So whether you're on or off the road, make life a ride with BMW Motorrad and experience an adventure like no other. Pauline Verzosa, CNN Philippines.
In sports, skateboarding champion Marjolin Didal makes the country proud again. The 19-year-old Cebuana is the only Filipino featured in Time Magazine's 25 most influential teens of 2018. Didal won a gold medal in skateboarding the Asian Games earlier this year. Her victory put skateboarding in the spotlight here in the Philippines, particularly in Cebu City, where the mayor has promised to build a new skate park in Didal's honor. Moving on, singer Lea Salonga gets a Grammy nomination for the first time. The acclaimed Broadway actress broke the news on Instagram. Salonga played the Goddess of Love in the musical Once on This Island. The musical nominated for Best Musical Theater Album in the 61st Grammy Awards. Salonga also returning to the local stage soon. She's going to star in the 40th anniversary production of the hit musical Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber on Fleet Street. The country's bet to Miss Universe showcasing the beauty of the Philippines on social media. Miss Universe Philippines Catriona Gray sharing this video entitled This is the Philippines ahead of Coronation Night next week. In the video, Gray visits several tourist spots in the country. The Filipina beauty queen will take the stage tonight in the Miss Universe National Costume Show. It will be streamed on the pageant's official website, 11 p.m. Philippine time. And that's it for tonight. Thank you for your time. I'm Pio Ontiveros. See you again tomorrow for Newsnight, where we go above and beyond the headlines.
This program is brought to you by